Welcome back to Spiritually Unconventional. You guys ready to go deep?
Always.
Okay, good. Let's do it. Today, we are taking a deep dive into the holographic universe.
Ooh, this is a good one.
It is. I am so excited to really get into this.
Me too.
This deep dive is going to be based on a 5-part workshop series by Stephen Davis.
Okay.
You can find this at https://holographicuniverseworkshops.com.
Awesome.
This is part 1 of 5 discussions we'll be having about this topic. So, buckle up and get ready.
All right.
So, have you ever wondered if maybe reality is less like, I don't know, a solid objective world that we think it is, and more like, kind of like a really detailed video game?
Yeah, that's one of the really cool things about the holographic universe model
Okay.
is that it introduces this concept of what's called the human game, okay? And so in this human game, each of us is a player.
Okay.
And we have been created by our infinite I, which is kind of a way of talking about our higher self
Oh.
that exists outside of this reality that we experience.
So it's like our higher self is the game developer.
Yes.
Okay. And so this infinite I designs all of our experiences,
Right.
Just like a game developer would. And this infinite I is choosing frequencies
Okay.
from what's called this universal field.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, you know how a programmer will write code?
Right.
It's kind of like that,
Okay.
that the infinite I is doing that. They're choosing frequencies,
Right.
which then project our holographic reality.
So instead of like lines of code, it's like frequencies
Frequencies, yes.
that make up, our experiences.
Yes.
And what about like the things that we need in order to, I don't know, play the game? Like money
Absolutely.
or like, relationships or...
Yeah, the infinite I also gives us all the tools that we need, just like a
Mhm.
video game gives a player resources and abilities and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And so these tools can manifest as anything from financial resources to supportive relationships, or even like those unexpected opportunities that just kind of show up. Yeah, it's like you're playing Minecraft or something, and
Yeah.
instead of gathering wood to build a house, you're using frequencies to create your entire reality.
Yes.
Wow. But if reality is like a projection, man, how do we even know if we can trust what we're seeing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And the workshop actually goes into this by sharing some really amazing visual illusions. And they talk about the work of Dr. Daniel Simons.
Okay.
And it shows how our brains can be tricked into thinking that we see a complete picture
Right.
when there are actually like crucial details missing.
I love visual illusions.
They're so cool.
Yeah. I feel like they really like make you question what you think you see.
Totally.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite one? You know, one that they talk about is the invisible gorilla experiment.
Oh, yeah. Seen that one.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah. So, you know, there's a group of people passing basketballs back and forth, and then they ask the viewer to count how many passes they make.
But then during the action, somebody wearing a gorilla suit just walks right through the scene.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't see it
They totally miss it.
because they're focused on...
They're focused on the counting.
Exactly.
That one's crazy.
Yeah. And, you know, I remember the first time I saw it, I was just like, what?
Oh, totally.
It just blew my mind.
I know. And it really makes you wonder, like, what are we missing
Exactly.
in our own lives?
Yeah. And that's what they talk about in the workshop, too.
Ugh.
It's that idea that, you know, sometimes when we're so focused on one thing, we miss other important details.
And not just gorillas.
Exactly.
Like, are we missing opportunities
Yes.
or like blessings because we're focused on,
What we lack.
what
Right.
we lack
Exactly.
instead of what we have.
Exactly. That's a really good point.
It's like we're playing the game with blinders on.
Yeah, totally.
But what determines, like, where our focus even goes? Well, that's where it gets even more interesting, because then they bring in the work of Dr. Bruce Lipton,
Okay.
who's a cell biologist, and he has done, like, groundbreaking work
Okay.
in the field of epigenetics.
Yeah.
And his research shows that it's not just our thoughts,
Okay.
but it's our beliefs that actually alter our biology.
So you mean what we believe can actually change our bodies?
Yes.
Like, not just positive thinking, but really like change of the physical reality?
That's the idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we all know about the placebo effect, right?
Right.
Which is like when you believe something will help and then it actually does, even if it's just like a sugar pill.
Yeah, like a sugar pill, total.
But then Lipton talks about this other effect called the nocebo effect, which is kind of the flip side.
Nocebo. Okay, I haven't heard of that one. What's that?
So the nocebo effect is when you believe that something is harmful and then it actually makes it harmful.
Wow.
even if it's like objectively neutral.
Right.
So it's like if you tell somebody that this harmless substance is going to cause a rash,
Okay.
they might actually develop a rash.
Oh my God. That is crazy.
Yeah, it's really powerful stuff.
It really is like that. That really makes you think about the power of the mind.
Absolutely.
Like, how is that even possible? How do
Yeah.
our beliefs actually create that change?
Yeah.
And-
So Lipton uses this great analogy of like he compares the body to a camera and then he says our beliefs act like filters on that camera lens.
Oh, like that. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like we may be filtering out positive experiences and focusing on the negative just because of our beliefs.
So it's like we're walking around with these filters on, like shaping how we see reality.
Yes, exactly.
Wow. That's crazy, and we might not even realize it.
We don't even realize it.
But if they're filters, what are we filtering out? You know what I mean?
That's the question, right? And the workshop suggests that like we could be filtering out opportunities or joy, abundance, even love,
Right.
just because of our limiting beliefs.
So we're missing out on really like experiencing life
That's what it's suggesting.
to the fullest.
Yes.
Wow.
And to kind of illustrate that, Lipton did this experiment where he had the audience wear different colored glasses,
Okay.
and then they looked at the same picture.
Oh, interesting.
And so depending on what color lens they were looking through, they would see the picture as either being like loving
Okay.
or fearful.
Wow. So even though it was the same picture,
The same picture?
it was just their like perception of it?
Exactly, because of the filter.
That's wild.
So it's like, it really makes you think like, what would it be like to see the world through a lens of love
Right. Instead of
fear?
instead of fear and limitations.
Yeah, and that's a really important concept that comes up in the holographic universe model.
Okay.
Is like he challenges the traditional idea of unconditional love. He's saying like, if we're filtering out the negative,
Yeah.
are we truly experiencing life
That's a good point.
in all of its fullness?
It's like we need both.
Yes.
That's right. We need the light and the dark
Exactly.
to see like the full picture,
To see the whole thing.
the whole game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. This is blowing my mind a little bit.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. So let's talk about money,
Okay.
because I feel like that's something that like so many of us have so many beliefs around,
Oh, yeah.
whether it's like not having enough or having to work really hard for it or feeling like it's scarce.
Yes.
So many beliefs around money. So what does the workshop say about that?
Well, they say that none of those beliefs are true.
Whoa. Okay.
That's a pretty bold statement, right?
That is bold. All right. I'm ready to hear this. So where do we even begin to unpack that?
Well, so they say that money, like everything else, is created by the infinite eye from the field.
Okay.
And just like, a video game controller gives a player the resources that they need,
Right.
the infinite eye provides money for the experiences
Right.
that it has designed for us.
Okay, so you're saying that the belief that we have to work hard for money
That's just a limitation.
is a total lie.
Yes, they say it's a total lie.
Like money can just come to us
Yes.
effortlessly.
Yeah, and they share some amazing stories that demonstrate how the universe can provide for us when we let go of those limiting beliefs about money.
Okay, give me a story. I love a good story.
Okay, so there's one where the workshop host himself, he was in a situation where he really needed 250 euros for a plane ticket,
Okay.
and all he had was $96 in his bank account.
Wow.
And so he went to sleep feeling really stressed,
Yeah, I can imagine.
but when he woke up, there was an extra $250 in his account.
What?
It appeared out of thin air.
No way.
Yes.
Are you suggesting that we should all just like wait for money to appear?
Not necessarily, but
Okay.
the point is that aligned action driven by joy and excitement rather than fear
Right.
creates more receptive space for abundance.
Okay.
It's not about being passive. It's about recognizing that our infinite eye is constantly working behind the scenes to provide for us.
So it's not about striving and like hustling,
No.
but it's about like aligning our actions with what we truly desire
Yes.
and trusting that the money will follow.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
And they also share a story about a friend in Monte Carlo who needed 500 euros to gamble at the casino.
Okay.
And all he had were 3 100-euro notes.
Okay.
But then when he counted his money, one of the 100-euro notes had transformed into a 500-euro note.
What?
Isn't that wild?
It's crazy.
Sounds like a movie.
Yeah, it does. It's like, well, if we're living in a holographic universe, maybe those glitches are more common than we realize.
Actually,
It's like almost like our infinite eye, like,
it's stepping in.
yeah, stepping in and being like, here you go.
Yeah.
Here's what you need.
That's a really cool way to think about it.
It is. And they even talk about people whose debts have vanished from their bank accounts.
Yeah.
It's like the infinite,
Moving just to their reality. Yeah, to align with their...
with a more abundant
Yeah,
experience.
yeah, these stories are insane. But let's be real. Letting go of these beliefs about money,
It's a process.
yeah, it's tough.
It is.
Especially if you've, been struggling.
Yeah.
It can feel really hard.
Absolutely. And the workshop mentions a lot of different methods that can help us with that, like shifting our beliefs. So they talk about Robert Scheinfeld's process,
Okay.
Jed McKenna's spiritual autolysis,
Okay.
Byron Katie's The Work.
Okay.
And it's like,
So many different approaches, but what's, the core idea behind all of them?
well, the idea is that it's not enough to just swap out beliefs, right?
Right.
Like swap out a bad belief for a good belief.
Yeah. Okay.
But the real key is to go deeper and address the judgments
Okay.
that create the beliefs in the first place.
Judgments. How do judgments, play into this whole thing?
Well, it comes back to that idea that what you resist persists.
Right.
Right.
And the workshop uses the story of Adam and Eve
Okay.
in the Garden of Eden
Uh,
to illustrate the power of judgment.
okay.
And so, we always focus on the apple, right?
Right. The forbidden fruit.
The forbidden fruit, but there were actually 2 trees in the Garden of Eden.
Oh, that's right.
So there's the tree of life
Yeah.
and the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Right. Good and evil. That's right. 2 trees.
2 trees. So the workshop asks this question: have we, as a species, become so fixated on the tree of knowledge of good and evil,
Okay.
on judging everything as good or bad, that we've actually missed out on the true abundance of the tree of life?
Wow. Okay, so we're judging everything as good or bad.
Yes.
And that's actually creating resistance, which then keeps us stuck.
Exactly. And it applies to everything.
Wow.
It could be our own personal struggles.
Okay.
Whether it's, money problems or health problems or
Right.
relationship issues, or it could be global issues like war and conflict. When we
Yeah.
judge something as bad, we actually resist it.
Okay.
And that resistance is what actually perpetuates the problem.
Oh. So are you saying that if we could just, accept the bad stuff,
Yes.
it might not have power over us anymore?
Exactly. So what if accepting the bad without judgment could actually be the key to unlocking a more joyful and peaceful existence? That's pretty radical, isn't it?
It is radical.
But it's really at the heart of the holographic universe model.
Okay.
And there's this great quote by Buckminster Fuller that says, "You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete."
That's a great quote.
Yeah.
So it's like we're being challenged to stop fighting against reality.
Yes.
And create a new model.
Exactly.
A new way of seeing the world, one that's based on acceptance
Acceptance.
rather than judgment.
Yes.
Okay, so what's next? How do we actually create that new model?
Well, a big part of it is actually embracing the power of saying yes.
Okay, I like that. Saying yes. What does that look like?
So, the workshop uses this funny scene from the movie, Dude, Where's My Car?
Okay. I love that movie.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
And so there's these 2 friends, and they're on this quest. And one of them thinks that they are bound by this, covenant
Okay.
to say yes to everything.
Okay.
And it turns out, there is no covenant. But it illustrates this deeper point, which is that saying yes to life's experiences is about coming from a place of genuine acceptance.
Okay.
And it's about being in alignment with our infinite I's plan.
So it's almost like surrendering to the game
Yes.
and trusting that our infinite I has designed this perfect set of experiences for us to grow and evolve.
Exactly. It's recognizing that every experience, even the challenging ones, are actually gifts from our infinite I.
Oh, wow.
It's all designed to help us evolve and expand our consciousness.
So it's instead of seeing our challenges as punishments
Yeah.
or setbacks, we could view them as opportunities
Exactly. That's a really good way to put it.
to grow and expand.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's a more joyful way to play the game.
It is. It is.
That's for sure.
Wow. I love that. This is really making me think differently about how I'm approaching everything.
That's great. That's what we want, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff, this idea of the holographic universe.
It is. But I have to say, I'm still kind of grappling with this idea, if our infinite I is this loving, powerful creator, why is there so much, suffering in the world?
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't it just create this perfect, blissful reality for all of us?
Yeah, that's a question that comes up a lot.
Yeah.
And it's something that they address in the workshop.
Okay.
And they suggest that challenges are not meant to punish us,
Okay.
but rather they're actually opportunities for us to grow
Yeah.
and expand our consciousness.
So it's like we need those challenges.
Yeah, think about it like a video game, right?
Okay.
If there were no obstacles, if there were no difficult levels,
Right.
it would get boring pretty quickly.
It would.
You wouldn't want to play it
Right.
anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
So we need those challenges to learn
Right.
and develop new skills.
To level up.
Exactly, to level up.
But how does that, like, apply to real life?
Right.
Like, how do we apply that to, like, illness
Yeah.
or loss?
Yeah.
Those are big things.
They are. And, the workshop proposes that even those really difficult experiences, as painful as they are
Right.
ultimately gifts
Mm.
from our infinite eye design to help us learn and evolve.
It's a hard concept
Did
to,
he?
like, grasp.
Yeah,
Especially when you're in it.
exactly.
Like, when you're in the midst of something really painful,
Absolutely.
it's really hard to see it as a gift.
Yeah, and I think it's important to, acknowledge that,
Right.
these are not easy ideas
Right.
to digest.
Yeah.
Especially when we're dealing with, real human suffering.
Right. Exactly.
But what the workshop is doing is inviting us to consider a different perspective.
Okay.
And so they're saying that our infinite eye, which exists outside of our limited perception of time and space,
Right.
doesn't actually view these challenges as bad,
Okay.
inherently bad.
Right.
Instead, it sees these experiences
Yeah.
as opportunities for growth and expansion.
So it's like our infinite eye is playing the long game.
Yes, exactly.
And we're just, like, caught in the moment.
Yeah, we're just in this little tiny slice of time.
Right. Okay. I like that. So our infinite eye is playing the long game. It knows what's up.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's using all of these experiences
Yeah.
to ultimately help us evolve.
So it's like they use this analogy in the workshop
Okay.
of a sculptor
Yes.
chiseling away at a block of marble.
It's a great analogy.
Yeah. And it might seem like harsh or, destructive in the moment, but the sculptor has this vision for the final masterpiece.
Exactly. They can see the beauty
Right,
that's
right.
going to emerge.
Okay, I like that. So
Yeah.
our infinite eye is shaping us
Yes.
through all of these experiences.
Yes.
Okay, I like
It's a process
Yeah.
of refinement.
Okay, so why limitations at all then? Okay,
Sure.
if we're like expressions of this infinite powerful
Yeah.
source,
Right.
why are we even experiencing these limitations?
That's a great question. And that leads us to another concept that's introduced in the
Right.
workshop,
Right.
which is this idea of the interconnectedness of all infinite eyes.
Okay, wait, so you're saying that, like, my infinite eye is connected to your infinite eye.
Yes.
We're all, like,
They're not actually separate.
we're all connected?
They're all interconnected aspects
Ugh.
of a single universal consciousness.
Okay, so we're all, like, playing in the same video game.
Yes, exactly.
But from our own unique perspectives.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's crazy. Okay, so the way I'm playing my game is actually affecting the overall game.
Yes. They're saying that our individual experiences are actually intertwined,
Well,
like threads in this vast cosmic tapestry.
yeah.
And so our actions and choices actually have ripple effects
Yeah.
that impact the experiences of others.
That's a lot of responsibility.
It is. But it also points to, the power that we have
Okay.
as co-creators of this reality.
Okay, so it's not just, like, us humans, right?
No, it's everything.
It's the whole universe.
Yes. So they even talk about how even inanimate objects actually possess consciousness.
Okay.
And so we're constantly exchanging information and energy with everything around us.
So it's not just a human game.
No.
It's like a universal game.
Yeah. Like this giant interconnected web of consciousness.
Wow. And we're all just like,
We're all participating in this grand cosmic dance.
yeah, it's kind of blowing my mind.
No, it's pretty amazing.
Okay, so where do we go from here?
Well, it has these profound implications for how we see ourselves and our place in the world.
Okay.
It suggests that we're not just isolated individuals, but we're actually interconnected expressions
Right.
of a single divine source.
So this is where it gets really spiritual.
Yes.
It's not just about, like, playing the game well, but remembering,
who we are.
yeah, who we truly are
Exactly. And that's what this is all about.
at our core.
Yes. They're saying that our ultimate goal as players
Okay.
is to awaken to our true nature
Okay.
as expressions of the infinite eye.
Wow.
And so the challenges and the difficulties that we experience are not meant to punish us,
Okay.
but they're actually there to help us break free from this illusion of separation
Okay.
and remember our oneness with that source.
It's like we got so caught up in the game
Yes,
that
exactly.
we forgot that we're divine beings.
Yes. We forgot who we are.
Just playing these human roles. Wow. Okay, that's pretty powerful. So if we're all these expressions of the infinite I, why are we experiencing all these limitations?
Yeah.
Like, why aren't we all just living in this state of bliss and abundance all the time?
Well, because remember, we're playing the human game,
Right.
and part of that game is experiencing limitations.
Oh,
Our ability to create is limited by our beliefs
Right.
and our perceptions.
so are you saying that we chose to forget our true nature
It's possible.
in order to, like, fully immerse ourselves in this human experience?
Yeah, to experience the full range of emotions.
With all the highs and the lows.
Exactly. And the veil of forgetfulness is like a necessary component of the game.
Okay.
It allows us to experience contrast
Right.
and duality and the full spectrum of emotions.
Yeah. Without that contrast, we wouldn't even know what bliss was.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like, those optical illusions where you can't
Yes.
see the image until you shift your perspective.
Exactly. And we need that contrast to perceive the whole picture.
Okay, I like that.
Yes.
So the key to, like, unlocking our full potential
Yes.
is to expand our awareness and release those beliefs.
Yes, exactly. And the workshop offers like some practical guidance
Okay.
on how to do that.
All right, ready.
All right, so one of the key principles is observation without judgment.
Okay, so instead of labeling things as good or bad, we just observe.
We observe.
Okay,
Curiosity.
easier said than done.
It is.
Yeah.
It definitely takes practice,
Yeah.
especially when we're faced with like strong emotions or
Right.
challenging situations.
Like, we're so used to reacting.
We're so used to reacting
Bizarre.
to everything.
And getting caught up in the drama.
Right, the drama of it all.
Yeah, but the workshop suggests that by cultivating mindful observation,
Okay.
we can actually start to detach from those emotional reactions
Right.
and create a more spacious and peaceful experience.
So it's not about like suppressing our emotions.
But it's about learning to observe them without getting swept away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about finding that calm center within the storm.
Yeah, I like that. It reminds me of that concept of the, like, observer in quantum physics.
Oh, yeah.
It's like we have the power to influence the outcome
Yeah.
just by changing how we observe it.
That's a really good connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it brings us to this idea, which
Yeah.
is central to the workshop,
Yeah.
which is that we are not just passive observers of reality.
Right.
We are active participants
Okay.
in its creation.
So we're not just playing the game.
No.
We're co-creating it.
Yes, we're co-creating it with our infinite thigh.
Wow. So it's like we have access to the cheat codes.
Yes, exactly.
But we don't know how to use them.
We haven't quite figured it out yet.
We're still figuring it out.
But the workshop gives us some guidance on how to activate those cheat codes.
Okay.
And it's about aligning our thoughts and our beliefs and our actions with the desires of our infinite I.
So it's not just like positive thinking.
No.
It's about, like, tapping into the wisdom of our infinite I.
Yes.
It's like
Exactly.
aligning ourselves with its, like, grander vision for our lives.
Yes.
Okay, but how do we do that?
That's a great question.
How do we know what our infinite I wants for us?
Yeah, it's a great question.
Yeah.
And that is something that we will explore in more detail
Okay.
in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay. I can't wait. Okay, so how do we tap into that wisdom? How do we actually, like, know what our infinite I wants for us?
Yeah, and the workshops actually offer a lot of really cool insights about that.
Okay, good.
They emphasize this idea that our infinite I is actually communicating with us all the time,
Okay.
but we're often just not tuned in
Yeah, I can see
to
that.
receive the messages.
It's like we're so busy, like, with our own thoughts
Yes.
and, like, the noise of the world
Yeah.
that we can't hear that, like, still small voice.
Exactly. It's like, imagine trying to have a conversation with somebody in a really crowded, noisy room. You
Yeah.
can't hear anything. There's
Mhm.
so many distractions.
Okay.
And it's the same with our infinite. We're constantly bombarded by external stimuli.
Right.
And then also, like, the chatter of our own minds.
Yeah, totally.
And it creates this mental noise that drowns out that subtle guidance.
So how do we quiet the noise then?
Yeah, well, they suggest things like meditation
Okay.
and mindfulness and spending time in nature
Okay.
can be really helpful for cultivating that inner stillness.
So it's about creating that space where we can actually hear,
Exactly.
like where those whispers of intuition can come through.
Yes, it's not about like becoming emotionless or detached from the world.
Okay.
It's more about learning to observe our thoughts and emotions
Right.
without getting swept away by them
Okay.
and creating that space of inner peace
Yeah.
where the guidance of our infinite I can actually emerge.
That makes sense. So, but like, how does it communicate?
Yeah.
Like, are we talking signs,
It can.
symbols,
Yeah.
dreams? Like, how does it actually talk to us?
Well, they say that the infinite I can communicate through a lot of different channels.
Okay.
The key is learning to recognize its unique language.
Okay, so what's the language?
Yeah. So it's less about like decoding a specific message,
Okay.
and it's more about recognizing patterns
Okay.
and sensing a feeling of alignment.
So it's like learning a new language.
Yeah, kinda.
But it's not like words. It's,
It's a feeling.
yeah, like more intuitive, right?
Exactly. It could be a sudden flash of insight.
Okay.
Or like a serendipitous encounter, a
Ah.
vivid dream, or even like a strong feeling of attraction or aversion towards something.
So we have to pay attention to those like subtle cues.
Yes.
Trust our gut more.
Exactly. And the more we pay attention to those subtle cues,
Okay.
the more we actually strengthen that connection
Okay.
to our infinite I, and then the clearer its guidance becomes.
So it's like we're developing a muscle
Yes.
the
I
more
got it.
we use it.
Yeah. The muscle of intuition.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do we know
Yeah.
if those feelings are coming from our infinite I?
Right.
Or if they're just like our own desires and
Yeah.
fears? You know?
Absolutely. And they give some good tips for that.
Okay.
One of them is to really pay attention to our emotional state.
Okay.
So if we're feeling joy
Okay.
or excitement,
Okay.
expansion, that's usually a pretty good indicator that we're in
Mhm.
alignment with our infinite.
So our emotions are like a compass
Yes.
guiding us toward like what's,
True for us.
yeah, our true north.
Yes, exactly.
But what about when we feel fear
Yeah.
or resistance? Like, what does that mean?
Well, they're saying that those feelings, while they're uncomfortable,
Right.
can actually be really valuable guidance from our infinite I, signaling that we might be kind of veering off course a little bit.
So it's like those alarm bells going off.
Exactly. Yeah. And so learning to recognize those emotional cues as messages from our higher selves
Yeah.
can be really empowering.
So it's like we're learning the language of our emotions
Yes.
and understanding that they're not just like random,
Exactly.
but they're actually messages
Yes.
from a deeper part of ourselves.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah. Okay, this makes so much sense.
Good.
It's like we've been given this incredible guidance system,
Yes, we have.
but nobody ever taught us how to use it.
Exactly. And, they really emphasize that it's a process. It's a journey of self-discovery and awakening.
Yeah.
And there's no, like, one-size-fits-all approach to connecting with our infinite.
So it's about finding what works for us.
Yes. And trusting our own inner wisdom.
Okay, I like that. So it's not about following a set of rules,
No.
but it's about like really cultivating that trust
Exactly.
in our own intuition.
Yes, and to approach it all with a sense of playfulness and curiosity.
Okay.
Remember, we're playing the human game. Part of that is exploring
Yeah.
and experimenting
Okay.
and discovering our own unique path.
It's like we've been given this amazing playground
Yes.
and we can create and experience anything we want.
And as we awaken to our true nature as
Yeah.
expressions of the infinite I, we tap into this limitless source of creativity,
Right.
abundance, and joy.
We realize that we're not just playing the game.
Yeah,
We're co-creating it
we are.
with this divine intelligence that flows through us.
That's beautifully put.
It's empowering, right?
Yes.
Like we actually have the power
Yeah.
to shape our reality.
Yes.
This has been an incredible deep dive.
It has. It's a lot to take in.
It is. It really is. I
yes.
feel like we've only scratched the surface,
We have.
but it's opened up like so many possibilities.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see where this goes in the next 4 parts.
Me too.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the holographic universe.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Be sure to check out Stephen Datis's website for more information on this concept.
Yes, great resource.
And until next time, keep playing the game, keep exploring, and keep remembering who you truly are.
Yeah.
A magnificent expression of the infinite dead.